So
The recorder is on as we begin another conversation that goes nowhere.
this is an important thing. I mean,
What disease would you
Yeah.
use to fake your death or explain a long absence? Now,
yes,
context,
yes,
because I know I didn't get to give it to you earlier.
yeah,
Reading a book, and without going into massive details, a woman accidentally develops superpowers. The government shows up and they're like, look, you have superpowers, you're a danger to yourself and others around you. We need to send you to essentially supernatural boarding school until you
sure,
can learn to control these. And
right,
it's a very incidental part of the actual book. But then
yes,
they tell her, she's like, what am I going to tell my husband? And like, when do I leave? They're like, get your coat. So
gosh,
what am I going to tell my husband and kid? They're like, oh, we actually have a script prepared for that. You have this very rare disease, and they haven't actually named the disease. But I was just thinking,
yeah,
at first I was like, well, what disease would I use if I needed to suddenly like fake my death or disappear? Like,
or disappear,
or just disappear for a prolonged period. And then I started thinking, what disease would each decade or century or whatever use for it?
Oh,
So,
sure.
So
What
if you're like
every era,
if you're in like, say for example, the Victorian era,
sure.
tuberculosis.
Yeah, super easy. I have to be gone to a sanatorium, otherwise I know I'll kill you. Yeah,
Right. That's how men kept secret families. I'm sorry, dear. I have a touch of the tuberculosis, and
or consumption. They would say consumption.
I have a touch of consumption, and no, don't come visit me. I don't want to infect you. I'll be gone for quite some time.
Yeah.
And in 2020,
yeah,
that would have been COVID.
COVID would help you sequester for quite some time. Sorry, we can't meet up. I've got COVID. I don't want to get you sick. And, you might even say that it's really bad. It's long COVID and that kind of thing. If you are, sexually active and, I have to get away from everybody because I'm communicable. Monkeypox is a pretty good one if you need a short stint, because that one you really do need to get away from everybody while you're contagious.
Like, okay, you're a secret agent.
Yeah.
Your family doesn't know.
Yes.
You need to disappear, and the first excuse you can think of is, I've been diagnosed with a disease. I have to go to a clinic somewhere rare that offers treatment, and you're assuming that the person on the other end of that phone call maybe doesn't have enough medical knowledge to do follow-ups. So another example, let's say, I don't know, early 1900s, malaria or Ebola.
No, yeah, absolutely. So Ebola is an excellent one because of its communicability. And so these are the same exact thoughts that I had, especially, infectious diseases. I not only wanted to be deathly ill, but I did want it to have that other aspect to it of it's very communicable. Like, I've got to get away from you or I'm going to get you horribly, horribly ill. So, we traveled to India. It's one of the few places where leprosy is still present. And while you're getting treated for leprosy, I mean, if a person studied it a little bit, they'd actually know that, you can take your Dapsone at home and it's fine.
Naturally, as one does.
Yeah. Like if you took a look, like we take care of people with leprosy in USC, actually. USC LAC has a leprosy ward because it still comes up, unfortunately, amongst the homeless population from time to time. But
where are the homeless getting leprosy?
So it's actually, it's a fairly ubiquitous mycobacteria. It's hard to catch though. You have to incubate with it for a while. But yeah, it does get passed enough to where, we have a TB care ward at LACUSC, and we likewise have a leprosy unit. It's much smaller than it used to be. But yeah, it would make its rounds, and it's very slow and insidious, right? Like it doesn't, it doesn't break out into, massive numbers of people. So, but it's an excuse of like, listen, I can't share the bed with you. I can't share the room with you. I'll get you sick. Hemorrhagic fevers are also excellent if you've been traveling, because the onset can be quite insidious. And if it was me and if it was Swati, we wouldn't be able to do it because Swati would know.
You beat me to the punch. I was just about to ask, Santosh.
Yeah.
You're woken up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
By a government agency, or more likely, me.
Yeah. you gotta get to getting, and you gotta.
Santosh, get your coat. We're leaving.
Yeah.
We're gonna be gone for at least 3 months. You can tell nobody.
Right.
What excuse are you giving? And you're an infectious disease doctor, so you're like, I've got to go. I suddenly developed an infectious disease. Let's ignore the fact that your wife is intelligent and would have many follow-up questions.
Sure. Yeah. Now, there are some others. If you take the communicability out of it, there are quite a few where, you need to go to this exact spot in order to get care. And you could play the thing of don't follow up. I'm going to go, because I have to rush. So there are some rare brain cancers where I need to go to a place that specifically has a gamma knife. So, I need to go to, Dana-Farber Institute, or I need to get to Johns Hopkins. There are variants on neurological diseases, so like, Guillain-Barré type things. But just to be like even worse, it could be rapidly progressive multiple sclerosis. And I need to get to a center very quickly that have, investigational biologics available for that. So that's definitely, a couple that I could go for. Cancers and degenerative neurological diseases are the other ones. These popped up as.
But remember, this is not disappearing forever. This is, I have to go out, on, I don't know, maybe an assassination or something like that. So this has to be something that difficult to treat.
Yeah.
Difficult to treat.
Yeah.
Can't develop overnight. Can't necessarily be contagious to your loved ones because they may start wondering if they
have it. Yeah. So now,
you have to be able to come back and resume your normal life as if nothing has happened.
That's the tough part. That's really difficult. So in this vein, infections are really, really good. If you did, now we do have some, West Nile. But the only way is how did I get around? How did I get to the hospital? Because if I had meningoencephalitis, I wouldn't be able to drive myself. So there'd be questions like who took you and, who got you to the hospital and stuff like that. So rapidly degenerative meningoencephalitis is probably a pretty bad idea.
Or you could just pull an Agatha Christie, say nothing.
Okay.
Disappear, just straight up disappear for 2-3 weeks, and then come back and be like, I was living under an assumed identity, apparently.
Now the best way to do it is, I had to go out to Boston recently without you, Swati, and I had to go traveling and this kind of a thing. And, I didn't know it at the time, but I picked up, such and such a, horrible infectious disease. Yes, they might think that they have it, but we're hypothesizing a little bit that the loved one is a little, little dense or maybe busy.
Well, no, this is, again, a lot of this would be much harder to do in an era of internet and social media, which is why I said through the ages. I love the idea of keeping a second family based on a tuberculosis lie. I mean, I don't love it, but it's
no. But it's clever. I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll have to continue. This could very easily develop into a future episode.
Oh yeah, or even a series, a various scenarios where illnesses would be helpful type of a thing. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. When is illness helpful? But that, I think we've reached the end of nowhere.
Sure.
So let's get started with the actual episode. And for those of you who joined us for another peek behind the scenes, thanks. Continue to expect very little medical or really anything helpful and just passively educational here. It's our gift to you. One that you can't return.
Yeah, ever.
Or get back. This time it's just gone forever.
It's like, Click and Clack used to say on Car Talk, you've wasted another precious hour listening to Car Talk. Yeah.
So, that's our gift to you that you can never return. Enjoy it. And we'll see you for the next one. And now we're going to play our paying audience out and segue on into our main episode in 5, 4,